Mike Clevinger began a throwing program on flat ground the other day, not off the mound. He aims to beat his recovery timeline. Based on his history, he's going to do that going away, but do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I'm not going to second guess him because I was second guessing him at this time last year, with the pulled muscle in his back. And, him coming back right away and talking about where his velocity was. And I think I may have said it to you. I said the last thing this guy needs to be doing is worrying about his velocity and looking at the radar gun and trying to throw harder if he doesn't see it there immediately.
Well, we're showing tape of his recovery movement here. And
I think he should adopt that. I think he should do that for the rest of his career.
What's that?
That move right there.
Well,
whatever that is.
I think that basically there's no proof, in the conspiracy theory part of this, there's no proof that was taken in the last couple of days. That could have been from 3 years ago. How important is it?
Like something it looks like something Trevor-Bauer talked him into trying.
Yeah, exactly. How much needed is he? How's that for grammar? How much do they need him?
I think he's a really big part of this. I mean, obviously, I think they feel real strongly about Shane-Bieber, and when we talked to Francona at Tribe Fest, he talked about Bieber seeing the same things in him that he saw in the young Corey Kluber. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to contend for 2 Cy Young awards, but I think they like Bieber. But let's face it, Clevinger is a 29-year-old guy who should be coming into his prime, and he's been dominant for the last couple of years when healthy.
Well, he has
been. I think
been,
he's a big part of what they can do this year.
But that motion, and I've never been a pitching coach. I've never pitched. Now that I think about it, you have that pitching motion. There's an awful lot of stress on it from a lot of different points of the body.
Yeah, I mean the last guy, and they're not similar in deliveries, but the last guy that they had in here that you looked and you said, boy, that's a lot of moving parts for a pitcher to have was Ubaldo.
Yeah.
Right, Jimenez.
I'd be bunning all day on this guy.
Yeah, and so Clevinger's got that real violent motion. You'd like to think that had nothing to do with the knee injury. I'm sure they were concerned about him pulling a muscle in his back, which is exactly what the young reliever has done this year at Clase A, correct?
Yeah. He's going to miss at least half the season, which is not.
Yeah, that's just part of my thing is that when you try to throw as hard as these guys do, and you're looking to amp up velocity by 2 or 3 miles an hour. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I think it can take you out of your normal motion.
Yeah, especially
you can repeat time.
Especially at this time of the spring training season. There's no reason to be going 100 miles an hour at that point. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Clevinger did recover from the injury faster than anybody expected. So he's probably going on that to give him hope. He left the game on April 7th with a strained back muscle, and he was told he wouldn't be able to pick up, not just throw a baseball, he wasn't going to be able to pick one up. You know how heavy those are, but for 6 to 8 weeks. Started playing catch on April 30th, 2019, and then he returned to the mound on June 17th, and he came back as if he hadn't missed any time at all. So
yeah, I mean that's a pretty long. It shows that they were taking some care to make sure he was okay. When you go from April to June 17th before you actually get in a game, right?
Right, exactly.
Isn't that what the graph said? So
yep.
I think they're going to, even though he's pushing already to shorten this recuperation, I think they're going to be just as careful with him. Do you bring him back in middle of April, Wes, when it's still going to be 36 at game time? I know you don't want to take a chance on losing the division because you have a real contender in Minnesota this year, but I also don't think it's smart to push this guy even though he thinks he's ready. Whenever he thinks he's ready, they should give him
another 3 weeks.
2 more, at least.
Don't show him a calendar.
Exactly.
Yeah, 216